This is a review of the iPhone 5 LifeProof case. It's called the Fre, F-R-E, long E, and I'm going to go over some things that I dislike about it and maybe some things that I do like about it. First of all, I bought this case for $80 off of LifeProof's website. It took forever for it to arrive. I actually had reserved this phone on the website probably 2 days after the Apple launch of this and their when they had actually released the phone. So that's when LifeProof had the phone and was able to start developing the case. Once I got it in hand, my initial thoughts of it were that it felt flimsy, but it's actually quite rigid once it snaps together. But for the price, you would expect for it to not be quite as flimsy as it is, and probably would want it to be made of something a little bit more robust. It feels cheap. For an $80 case, it really does feel cheap. One of the things that I really dislike about it, you can see from this view right here, is that the screen actually has ripples in it. And you can see when I push down that there's actually some gaps in between the screen protector and the actual screen on the phone, which provides some really bad experiences when texting because you don't always get the proper letters that go through that you're trying to get. So the bubbles, the ripples just kind of give it a cheap feel. For an $80 case, you shouldn't have those ripples. They should not be in there. Really what the problem is that it should have been made out of a thicker material or a more rigid material, and it just seems, I don't know if they're cutting corners or whatever it is, but for an $80 case that should be thicker. Now another thing, let me turn on the light. Another problem with this particular screen is that if I go in here and go to a white web page, I'm going to see if this will show up. You can see how there's a little bit of a rainbow effect in the screen, and it's hard to tell from this view. But actually, what's happening is I believe that some of the oils from the polycarbonate that they've used is creating these microscopic bubbles of oil that are causing this rainbow effect. And actually, what it does is it causes a lot of strain on your eyes when you're using the phone, especially when you're using it on a white page where you're going to get the full spectrum of color coming through. And so it puts unnecessary strain on your eyes. They could have avoided this by using a higher quality polycarbonate, something with some better optical clarity, but they didn't. Just seems like they have really skimped on that. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the sound. The sound is really bad. It's pretty terrible. It sounds like it's just real echoey. So if I ask Siri, well, actually that's another problem that I'm going to get to. The headphone jack, I'm going to have to actually take that out, which is a real pain.
I don't understand.
See?
Actually, that's another problem too.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot, Siri. So the sound is terrible. You went from a really good quality sound that Apple had probably spent millions of dollars developing the sound and the speaker on that, and you go to terrible sound. The other thing is this headphone jack. A couple different things about this that I don't like. One is that you have a brass thread here and you have a plastic thread that it has to go into. If you accidentally are rushing and you strip those threads, then your phone case is no longer waterproof. And if you don't know, you inadvertently strip those threads, then you're in a world of hurt there. You're going to be out of new iPhone. The other thing, you'll notice that there's 3 black bands on this headphone jack. And what that means is that this carries microphone capabilities. The problem with this is that I plug in my phone to my vehicle every day, and what I like to do is I like to have hands-free capabilities to where I would actually be talking into the microphone of the phone, but the sound that would be coming out would be going through my car's speakers. That's no longer an option because this has a microphone capability. Once you plug this into a headphone jack or something like that, it takes away the microphone from being what you actually speak to the phone in. So another problem with it, it doesn't lay flat. See here, it doesn't lay flat. That's just bad design. Just gets on my nerves because Apple has designed such a beautiful product, and then you have to put this case on it to protect it for whatever reason, and it won't do that. The other thing, it didn't come with a belt clip. Another belt clip, or a belt clip for it, is $20. That's just unnecessary to have to pay $100 for a case. And then the other thing that's a real big problem is this right here, and that is that you'll notice, I don't know if you've seen the Apple commercials, but what Apple's done is they've put a microphone in the back of the phone, and it works a lot like the Bose noise canceling QC15 headphones in that it listens to ambient noise, and then what it's going to do is it's going to cancel the noise through the speaker in the phone. So what happens during a telephone call is now you get this loud bass drum thumping in your ear instead of a noise canceling feature, because what it's doing is it's echoing inside the case and then trying to cancel out what it's hearing. It's trying to cancel out all of that echoing that it's hearing inside the case, and so you get this annoying thumping noise while you're on a phone call. There's no way around that as far as I know. So basically that wonderful noise canceling feature that Apple designed is completely useless with this case. I bought the case because I snowboard. I do a lot of things that that would get the case potentially wet or dropped or something of that nature. But I think that there's a lot of limitations with a waterproof case, especially given the noise canceling feature, the speakers being terrible, and then not having the ability to have a jack that only does sound and no microphone. So I would say that for the price point of this, there's a lot to be had. There's a lot that's lacking on it. Anyways, that's my review. Not a whole lot positive to say about it. I think there would be more positive to say about it if it wasn't $80 and I didn't have to wait forever to get it, and if it felt a little bit more robust, and of course if the screen didn't bubble up. My brother had one. He sent it back just because the screen was so annoying, and I'm thinking about sending this one back as well, mainly for that reason and some of the other ones. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it's helpful for you. If you absolutely just have to get your phone wet all the time and you're scared to death of dropping it in the toilet or something of that nature, then I guess this is really the only option for you. But just know that it comes with a lot of limitations. So if you have to have a waterproof case, you are going to be severely limited on some of the finer aspects of this phone.